Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Big news this morning in the world of Newcastle United. As it's reported, we have upped our bid in the hope to sign Benjamin Cesco. Reports are that Newcastle are hopefully, because nothing's done till it's done, but hopefully trying to learn lessons from earlier this window where we placed a bid, gone away, hoped it would all be alright. Chelsea come in and get João Pedro. We've seen it happen all season. We're trying not to let it happen again this time. Reports are Jamie Rubin himself, owner of Newcastle United, is out in the meetings with Leipzig trying to get the deal done. And hopefully we will have an answer very, very soon. As well, links to Mark Gahey and will it be the Isak Eddie Howe face-off at the training ground later on today? Yes guys, as I say, how's it going? Welcome to a very early video this morning. The sun is shining despite the windy weather. Had to jump on for this one before I get my day started. As I say, breaking news that Newcastle are pushing to get the Benjamin Cesco deal done. It was said that we would have an answer by Wednesday. And Newcastle aren't waiting around. We're not just sitting there going, oh, well, we'll wait until Wednesday. We're pushing. We are pushing. We've improved terms on the bid to just try and get this going. There are so many dominoes stacked with Cesco, Wizard, Isak, and we need to wait and hopefully the domino will fall in our direction, because that's the thing. It isn't just us. Manchester United are still in for him. But there's been two very different approaches for the player, and we're hoping that ours is the one that proves to work out. So the reports were that Newcastle had a bid placed for £70 million plus add-ons. That was the amount of money that Leipzig have asked for. Contradicting reports as to whether they accepted it, rejected it, did nothing with it. Well, really, I don't think anything happened with it. There was a bid placed. Leipzig just hadn't jumped on it just yet. I think the hopes from Leipzig were that they would hold off, wait a little bit, and see if Manchester United would come in for more money that would spark a bidding war. I guess maybe good news for us, Manchester United have taken a different approach. Essentially, their approach is that they want, or this is the reports anyway, that they want Sesko to come out and say, I want to go to Manchester United. And then they've said that once he does that, then they'll make the bid. I think essentially what they're wanting is for the player to do that, because then that lowers, that weakens Leipzig's hand at the moment. If Sesko doesn't say anything, reports were that he was interested in both parties. Reports are that he's very keen on the Newcastle project and what we have to offer. But there's no denying that he has had clear links to Manchester United as well. So they're wanting him to say that he wants to go there first, because then that means Newcastle presumably will drop out. And then they can come in with a lower bid. Newcastle aren't working that way. We are working with the club and pushing as hard as we can to give the fee to the club. You know, we're not messing, I guess maybe we are in talks with them in the background, but it seems to be that Newcastle are trying to get the deal done with the club, and then we'll move on with the player. And if Leipzig accept our offer, it's expected that Sesko will jump at the chance and hopefully, you know, in the next couple of days move to Newcastle United. So you're asking, well, Rob, if we already bid the amount of money they wanted, why are we having to bid a second time? So there's slight see, the sun is trying to get me through the blinds there. Slightly contradicting reports on that one. Basically, what we've done is just push the money up front. So essentially, it would have been I think it was already quite a bumper payment to start with, but then a bit of money then, and then a bit of money here. Now, reports are that Newcastle are going full in, €80 million, £70 million up front for the Leipzig player. So we are putting all the money in on day one. Reports are Manchester United are looking to try and get Højlund in part of the deal. They're trying to do a bit of this, a bit of that. So really, Newcastle are in a seriously strong position. We've put the money in they've asked for. We've put a massive lumper up front. We've got add-ons as well, which, to be honest, I hope we'll pay them the add-ons. I hope we pay them an extra 10 million in add-ons, because that means that he will have come in, played loads of games, scored loads of goals, and God knows what else he's managed to achieve. So, yes, It's extra money. I hope we pay it. I hope in a year's time we pay them an extra 10 million because it means he would have been great. Obviously, what we're waiting for is Leipzig to accept. And then, as I say, the hope is that SESKO will jump and make that move to Newcastle United. So drop a like on this video if you're excited to see this one go through. £70 million. People are saying that the fee is getting quite high. It is getting high. That is football. João Pedro is 65 million. It is, the world is going mad. That is the kind of fee you're playing for a footballer. That is why Alexander Isak is rated at £150 million. Players come with a big price tag now, and SESKO has one as well. The hope is that under Eddie Howe, he comes in, he learns, he works, just 22 years old. And as I say, we bought Isak for 70 million. We're selling him for 153 years later. Who knows what SESKO can achieve? So yes, drop a like on this video if you are happy to see SESKO come in. And should SESKO join in the next 24, 48 hours, what does that mean for Alexander Isak? Well, as I mentioned, Keith Downey was camped out last night to see what happened with Isak this morning at the training. Yesterday at the training ground. I'm getting blinded, so it's knocking off me chatter. Isak was spotted at the training ground yesterday morning, went in 3 hours and left. No sign of Eddie Howe. Reports are that Eddie Howe is expected back at the training ground today with other Newcastle officials for crunch talks with Alexander Isak, and it's going to be really interesting to hear what comes out of that one. I'm happy that Isak is back and is back at the training ground. Look, whether he stays, goes, or whatever happens next, the fact that he just I don't know what the situation's going on behind the scenes. You know, he could go in there, have a wobble, and leave again for all I know. But at the very least, to show that bit of respect and have a bit of honour in what he's doing, come to the training ground, have the face-off with Eddie Howe, as it were. You know, don't just hide in your room and wish it all away. Like, come in, have the conversation. If the conversation is, I want to go, then fine. But let's actually do it like real people, not cowering away, not going on trips, hiding away, bogging off to Spain. Like, it's really poor. And at the very least, what I would like to hear from this is Eddie Howe basically coming out and going, yeah, we'll have the conversation. He said he doesn't want to be here. He wants to leave. And then we can just move on. And hopefully, should SESKO go through in the next 24, 48 hours, maybe it will just simply be the case that Isak doesn't ever get back involved with training again. You have to think that after the big words from Eddie Howe, talking about the fact that players can't just expect to turn up and be part of this. You've got to earn the right to play for Newcastle United. Joe Linton with his photos with Isak in the background, calling it a second home. Bruno posting family meals with Tonali and Vlaco Dimos of all people. But great. You know, Eddie Howe has used his energy on the players that deserved it this summer out in Singapore and South Korea. I'm buzzing to have him back in Newcastle so he can really get his hands on again. And the question mark was, will Isak be part of training? Well, you've got to imagine after the harsh words of Eddie Howe that at the very least he would not be part of training in the immediate future because of everything that's gone on. There's no way he can really play him first game of the season. Or who knows, maybe Eddie Howe totally flips it and just goes, you know what, you're contracted to us, get your arse on that pitch now and run around. So, yeah, that's why it's interesting. We'll see what happens below. If you've got an opinion on Isak, let me know down in the comments. But I have to say, I'm up early this morning, recording this at 6:30 this morning. By lunchtime, we may well have had the SESKO deal agreed. And then by that point, Eddie Howe's got bigger fish to fry and he's letting JT give Isak a wallop instead. Eddie Howe's sorting out the SESKO deals and contracts and whatever else comes next. And if that is the case, then maybe we're on the blow at Liverpool going, well, come on then, show us the 150. Because, again, I think Newcastle should be stubborn about that. People have said that, Newcastle have thrown in a 70 million lumper on SESKO. That means we've got cash. I mean, we should have cash. We're the richest club in the world. But you know what I mean? Is that because we're prepped for the money coming in for Isak? And it's great as well to see that Newcastle aren't just waiting on Isak and we are looking at additional targets, centre-back targets. That's right, news coming out yesterday was the Gahey deal, and reports are that Newcastle are pushing on the player who has just 1 year left on his contract. It's a similar situation to Wizza, two players there that we are keen on. But again, because again, people are saying Sesko 70 million. Brentford are looking for 50 for Wizza. And fair enough, Wizza is a Premier League proven player. But Sesko, 22 years old, a hell of a lot of potential. In 3 years' time, Wizza will be, well, he won't be retired, I shouldn't imagine. But he'll probably still be going. But it's just what Sesko could be in 3 years is a totally different world. Assuming it goes well, assuming he joins us, there's a lot of boxes to tick before we get anywhere near that. But you know what I'm trying to say. Gahey, 1 year left on his deal. Hope to be a great opportunity to bring in a player on the less fee. But Crystal Palace is Crystal Palace. The owner is the owner, and he wants £50 million. And what doesn't help is that Gahey's a great player and being linked around. Funnily enough, Liverpool are also a team who are linked with Mark Gahey. Again, both Newcastle and Liverpool valued the player at around 35 to 40 million. Palace want 50. And as the window presses on, it's a situation where is one team going to jump higher than the other for that player? Obviously, we've got plenty going on with them already. Is there going to be another fight off for a Gahey? We'll have to wait and see. It's a player that I like, and I do think at this point in the window, it's positive. Sesko's looking good. Finally might get this Isak stuff sorted. Jamie Rubin's getting hands on to try and get the Sesko deal done. Eddie Howe's back in Newcastle. Big Yass is getting involved with the Isak stuff. It's taken us 2 months, but we might finally get there in August with 30 days-ish to go now on the window to start slamming out some of these options. Some of the other things that are being linked in the media is centre midfield options. I saw, is it Bobby Clark was getting linked? I mean, he obviously left for Liverpool back at the Mike Ashley days. Young lad, Lee Clark's son. He was being linked. He went away to Liverpool and then it didn't work out. And then he's at Red Bull Salzburg. Is apparently available for 5 million. So people are linking him in as a return to Newcastle. Obviously, he hasn't done great out there. But there's stuff going on in the background. Aside from Isak, which is basically all we've spoken about for 2 weeks, if Newcastle can start pushing the button on some of these this month, maybe we can finish strong after all. So there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. Thoughts and comments on Sesko. If you're happy to see the Sesko one hopefully go through, drop a like. If you don't want to miss out on any future videos, hopefully a big reaction later on today as this one really gets rolling, be sure to subscribe. Thoughts on the Eddie Howe versus Isak talks today, Mark Gahey, and some of the other players being linked as well. Thanks for watching. It's so bright now. The trees are blowing sideways, but maybe it'll turn out to be a good day after all. I feel like I'm peering through bars here. Thanks for watching. I need to get a cup of tea and breakfast. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.